starting.
Okay.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the live show. I've got my main man, Paul, with Paul's Prime Cuts. We are here, we're live, and we're going to be doing it big time tonight. We're celebrating, not like Tiger Woods, but for Tiger Woods for doing all the great things he did. We're going to keep it a little PG rated around here, baby. Ain't that right, Paul?
PG, yeah, Permagreen.
We're going to keep it Permagreen rated around here. So, anyway, big what's up to everybody on the live show tonight. My son just snuck in the room knowing he's not supposed to, but that's going to be all right. Noah, say hey to everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm
Okay.
a 6-year-old.
Yep, he is 6. That's right. Thank you, buddy. All right, so today we're going to be talking about a little bit of the same things that we always talk about, and that would mean it's going to be an open format. For those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, the way this typically works is the chat room asks the questions, and then we answer the questions. It's pretty much as simple as that. There is one thing that I will typically say, and that is, I would say both Paul and I are more of turf grass management professionals, more so than landscaping, although I believe Paul has way more landscaping experience than I do, so he'd probably be able to hold his own in that regard. That's right, he's planted a bush. So, for those of you that have never been a part of this before, we're going to move on to the segment that I call the roll call. We're going to give a big shout out to all the names, new and old, that I recognize here. Real quick, I believe the Lawn Stripes was first. I know that is a metric that gets maintained these days, and that's exactly who he was. And we got to give a big shout out to Mr. Matt Anderson. He is the L.A. Bass Hole. That's the Louisiana Bass Hole, catching the big fish. Big fish. Brian Jones, Dustin Keller, Jeremy Swatkins, Charles Douglas, Kev C, Ballistic, Dirty First, Ballistic. You're late, sir. Gorgonzola. You know exactly who's guest starring tonight. The Big Paul. Woo! Lushy is in here. Hey, Lushy. Sorry I went to sleep last night. Matt Kaczynski is here all the way from Jamaica. Kyle Ben, y'all. What are you holding up over there? In your face. And the Real Low Dad. We're showing some love tonight. Y'all know what I'm saying. Game of Thrones is coming up later, so yeah, that's why we're going to try and roll through here and get through this as fast as we possibly could. Jario Morris, what's going on? All right, everybody. So, we're going to move on to that point of the night where we're going to ask you to start bringing in the questions. Load us up. Think of your most difficult questions that you can come up with, and we will come up with the most positive answers that we can come up with. Whether they're right or not, I'm not sure, but we will attempt it, if you know what I'm saying. And I don't know if you could tell, but my background this evening is a shot from the Masters. That's all I got. Hey, Paul, let's test your sound real quick. Talk a little bit, and let's make sure everybody can hear you.
Can you hear me? Test.
There's going to be a little bit of a delay here because I think it's like 20 seconds or something between when you say that and then when they actually start responding in the chat. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think I have questions that are starting to come in. Some sort of echo chirping thing. I think that's because Paul is outside, and those are the sounds.
That's the sounds of nature. Let me close the door. See if that makes any.
All right, they said they got you loud and clear. That's what I'm talking about.
Got a refrigerator going over here too.
Matt, run your speakers as low as you can. I think I can get it all the way down to there. We'll see what that's like.
All right, how's that?
That's perfect.
Sweet.
They said they could hear you fine,
Okay.
so I think we're all good.
I'm using my high-tech studio out in my building with my telephone propped up on a can of humic acid.
The old humic
Humic tripod.
I couldn't think the word tripod. All right, combo of MSM and Monument for the final kill of the rye. Real Dad, I think that would be a little bit overkill. Doing metsulfuron, methyl, and trifloxysulfuron is like, I mean, that's doubling up on top of doubling up for no real reason. If you want to add something to it to probably speed that up, you could probably throw in something like Dismiss, sulfentrazone, or carfentrazone, which would be Quicksilver, and combine that with your Monument or your MSM to go after the rye. I don't know. What do you have? Do you spray out much rye, Paul?
I don't have. I didn't do any perennial ryegrass this year. I had a hell of a time killing it last year, to be honest with you. We bought some kind of new high-dollar hybrid ryegrass, and it did not want to die. It took a couple of applications of MSM at almost an ounce per acre to get rid of it. It would go away and keep bouncing back, but I didn't put out any this year. I put out some annual on a couple of places, but that's about it.
Yeah, Monument and Revolver and Katana are my favorites to go for transitioning rye out. And the only reason I don't really throw MSM into that is because I just have never done it. I've always used one of those three, so really that's all the experience I got.
I've used Katana on it before. Katana is kind of marketed as something to knock ryegrass out of sports fields and stuff too, I think.
Yep. It's fast. It's one of the fastest of the sulfonylureas, so doesn't make it the best, but it is one of the fastest. Paul, how did top dressing the pool lattice work out for you last fall?
Joe biked it. Most of it stayed on the ground, and it's fine. The grass is green over there. Everything's good.
They said those are some big flames for a little cigar. Don't burn your shed down, is what they said.
I'll leave that to the pros. The shed burn.
Yeah. Chris Elms wants to know, who is Paul?
Tell him to ask his girlfriend.
You heard it from the man himself, Chris. How to get rid of rust in a fescue lawn. Fescue can be treated with a fungicide to control things like rust. One of your DMIs like propiconazole or Eagle are probably sufficient in controlling rust. Rust isn't one of those things that will hang around and ultimately kill your grass. It's just unsightly when it's there, and it tends to be more unsightly when it's there in the spring than when you see it in the fall, because typically in the fall it starts to get cold and then you're done with it. But when it's there in the spring, it seems to linger, and then oftentimes it will run right from rust into red thread and then into brown patch. It almost seems like a seamless disease flow. So I would time it with an application of fertilizer too, because typically if you're dealing with rust, you're dealing with some sort of deficiency, and chances are that may be on the potassium end of things. So check your soil levels, make applications as need be, and put down a fungicide. Do you deal with much rust where you
I have not seen it in Fescue.
You don't see it in Fescue?
I have not, no.
I see it in the fall around here, but it's very limited. I mean, you may see it in one neighborhood, and then you don't see it anywhere else for the duration of the season. So it's kind of hit and miss on that regard. Purple clover looking weed. How to control it in South Carolina? Purple clover.
It's probably henbit.
Yeah. Straight up purple would be like a henbit. I guess if it was like a black looking clover, it could be either oxalis or black medic. But that's really all I got, and I would use a 3-way herbicide to take care of it. And if it is indeed like an oxalis or a black medic, you would probably have to use something ester based, like a 2,4-D ester or speed zone. or triclopyr ester, or something that contains fluroxypyr and triclopyr. What is the best way to kill POA in a Bermuda Centipede mixture lawn? How would you do it, Paul?
Probably something like Celsius or Revolver or something would probably be a good.
All right. What is your typical results you have with Celsius in Centipede going after POA?
In Centipede, I mean, the time of year that we've got POA, Celsius is so slow. I mean, nothing. I mean, it'll get it, but I mean, not like lightning or anything. In Bermuda grass, you know, we got it earlier with glyphosate, but I don't get too crazy about worrying about POA that much unless it's just god awful. I mean, you know, in a warm season yard or a cool season yard, really, it's hard to get out of a cool season yard to balance out the the cost versus reward there, to me anyway.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Celsius is great. I tend to say wait on POA with Celsius until it's hot outside. Once it's hot outside, you can make that application, then you look like a hero. If it's still cool outside, you're limited because you can't use the sulfonylureas that are known to get POA in cool weather, albeit they tend to get it slowly. So even Revolver works really slow when it's cold outside. Monument works really slow when it's cold outside. So I think you would be limited to ethofumicate, atrazine, Celsius, and maybe Certainty, and then that would be about it as far as what you could use. How much Carbon X would be needed for Augusta? We need to work on that. I don't know. I'll tell you, looking at Augusta makes you want that rye overseeded in Bermuda. Yeah, no doubt. When you see Augusta National on TV, do you want to overseed ryegrass everywhere?
I hadn't even had time to watch TV, man. I've been out looking at real yards.
Man, Paul doesn't even have time to turn on the TV. Somebody give him some help.
Hey, go back to what you said about atrazine. How are you killing stuff with atrazine? I sprayed a bunch of it earlier in the spring here, late winter, whatever you call it, and got diddly for action.
So typically, there's a couple of different rules with atrazine. One, has to be run with a seed oil. Mm-hmm. Two, it doesn't work like it used to, so typically it would be a tank compatibility partner. And three, you want to apply it low volume. So you would want to use it as a kicker with something else you're applying and apply it at low volume with a methylated seed oil. So I guess, an example would be like maybe even a dormant centipede type application would be something like MSM, atrazine, and MSO. You would get a little bit of a burn down effect from the atrazine until the MSM could kick in, and then it would also give you that duration because it does have that pre-effect. So especially working with MSM, I mean that's a pretty good synergy, and that'll leave you really clean for quite a while after your application. Atrazine used to be awesome by itself, but over the years it's just really turned to crap. And you have to use it as a tank compatibility partner. Used to, we would mix it in backpacks and go spray POA with it, and could smoke POA, but it doesn't work like that anymore.
Well, the label says
it's disheartening because
under 55 degrees.
Yeah, right.
What rate would you go out with that atrazine for L at? About 16 ounces?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the label again. It's been so long since I've even looked at it. I haven't sprayed it in probably 5 or 6 years. But I would say probably half of single-use max rate. So I can't remember what that is. Is that 32 ounces? Is single-use max rate 64 to the acre, I think? And so I'd probably run half that at 32.
Okay.
But I can't recall. No Revolver and Centipede. That is right. Definitely do not put Revolver on Centipede. And I know that from experience. It's a disaster. Let's see. Need high potassium. What should I use? You can go get a bag of 0060, which is muriate of potash, and put that down and have no issue with it at all. You could also go get a bag of 0050, which would be sulfate of potash, and put that down. You would be good to go on either of those. Let's see. How often should I put down citric acid 1 pound per 1,000 on my concrete backyard to free up the soil and lower the pH? I threw down 4 pounds per 1,000 of elemental sulfur yesterday. The lawn stripes, I want to say Ray said you could do that monthly. The Green Doc said you could do that monthly. Oh, Ray's in here. Here he is. What's up, Ray? Welcome, sir. Paul, they want to know when you're getting back with your drone footage.
You know, I haven't even had time to do anything fun lately, man. I've just been trying to play catch up and keep my head above water right now. But I'll when some stuff slows down, maybe I'll have some more silliness out
there. Let's see, Matt. I have several new customers with a lot of clover in the lawn. I'm about to go out with round 2. If I kill off the clover, will the lawn have huge bare spots? Mark, not necessarily, because a lot of times there's grass underneath the clover. You just can't see it because the grass is under the clover. So by eliminating that clover, it gives the grass a chance to see sunlight, and oftentimes it's nowhere near as bare as it normally seems. Any risk of running prodiamine on turf-containing bent grass in a home lawn cut at 3.5 to 4 inches? No, you will not hurt it. Paul, why are you so handsome?
Well, I heard that's a girl asking that, but
it's not, and that's Thor. He's here in Knoxville with the question. So, I think he just needed to get that out there. It was bothering him. When should I apply tenacity in the process of new seeding for Kentucky bluegrass? Before the seed is down? After I seed and peat moss? Either or. I'm not really going to give you a whole lot of different opinion on there, but the most important thing is just getting it down. And I would say at the time you seed, spray it, like immediately afterwards. Don't hesitate on that. Just get it done. Centipede grass in Louisiana with a pH of 7. Would you apply sulfur, leave alone, or something else? Yes, I would try and drop that pH. Either sulfur or citric acid. And definitely be using ammoniacal nitrogen only on it. I would prefer Centipede to have a pH somewhere around 5.5 to 5. That tends to be where I saw the most highly performing Centipede. How much Centipede do you have?
A lot. Yeah, I was just looking at it the other day, about 23, 24 acres maybe.
Oh.
And that's not counting the ones that are Franken lawn with. Yeah, a lot of stuff here has some Centipede, some Bermuda. And even some zoysia, some Centipede, just, patches in the yard where people have tried different things over the years. And those are a real pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about Centipede grass. I'd met somebody when we were at that deal for whatever that reel mower is, Swardman, for the Swardman reel mowers. And there was a guy there, and he was saying, why doesn't anybody on YouTube ever talk about Centipede grass? And I said, because there's no one on earth that likes Centipede grass. There's just nothing nice about it. And nice meaning that in terms of being able to treat it, it's just difficult. So that's why I'm not a big fan of it. Oh, here we go. Aaron Van Dyke. I sprayed 2.5 gallons of CalFlow liquid lime on an acre yesterday. How soon will I have to reapply? Have you ever used liquid lime before?
Nah, I haven't.
Okay. So carbonates and calcium carbonates in particular are what is going to have the biggest effect on your pH. And you are not going to be able to get a significant amount of that into a bottle. It works as a powder, and particularly the finer the powder, the best it works. So as far as what you think you're doing with your cow flow, chances are you're probably not. If you look on the label, it will tell you your calcium carbonate equivalent, and that is how close to an actual liming effect it will have on your grass. And if I had to guess, it's going to be relatively low. I would warn you, please stay away from liquid limes. They're not real. Peter Kane says, ever used or done research on a product called C20 by Precision Organics? Thoughts on it or similar products that use soybean and rice hulls? Have you ever heard of C20?
Nah.
So soybean and rice hulls, typically they're a little higher on the inside of things. I would say you're probably going to be like a 612 to a 712. That may be down, maybe like a 513, something like that. And C20, I guess they're going after it, saying that that the makeup of it is 20% carbon because of the organic matter that exists in it. And once that's mineralized, you're getting 20 units or 20% of the material you apply as soil organic carbon. I've never used it. I'm not a big fan of large amounts of nitrogen sources like that because they tend to have a capping or crusting effect on the soil, which could lead to anaerobic conditions. So one of the I guess negatives to using something like damn it, what is the organic pre-emergent corn gluten? You apply corn gluten over and over and over, and you have to put it out at 10, 20 pounds, 25 pounds per thousand. 25 pounds per thousand, that's a lot of material, and as it will gum up there at the surface and then dry, you'll get this caking effect that takes place at the surface. And then, you have to apply it pretty frequently, and so you get cake layer on top of cake layer on top of cake layer. And it's not to say that it would happen, it's just the potential is there for something to happen. That's why you don't see something like soybean or rice hulls run on golf tee boxes or golf greens. And it's because you get that capping effect that can impede the movement of air and water. Lost my camera. All right, doing some turf-type tall fescue spring aeration and seeding in Baltimore. Was wondering if supplementing that with aerate is worth it or a waste. Also, will an application on seeds have negative effects? Paul, have you tried to get away from doing any mechanical aeration and just do a liquid product on top of seed?
No. If I'm going to use one of them with when I'm seeding, it's going to be something like RGS. But no, I haven't just liquid aerated and thought that would do the trick. I mean, there's a lot more to get the seed actually on the ground, in the ground, than just spraying something on it. I mean, I'll rake the mess in there. I mean, I go a lot further than just putting the seed on the ground. Even if I do mechanically aerate, I'm still going to drag it in there with something.
Yeah. Yeah, seed to soil contact is the most important part when it comes to getting your germination. So, yeah, you can spray aerate down, but understand you still need to do something to maximize your seed to soil contact. If not, then that's when you'll have a point of diminishing return on your germination rates. So, no, aerate on top of seed will not have a negative effect, though. I have Poa annua bad in my fescue. Should I spray or just let summer kill it?
Let it die.
If it was loaded up in your fescue, would you spray it or would you let summer kill it?
I have run up with one that I'm very tempted to spray something on, but by the time it kills it, it'll be dead anyway by heat. So No, I don't spray it out of Fescue, no.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. I mean, if you've got the cash in your pocket that's just burning a hole in it, then absolutely you can if you want. And ethofumicate would be what you have to spray, or you could just let summer get it. I mean, it's entirely just it's a matter of preference. I have a Sprayers Plus 105EX with 40 psi. What would be the best tip to spray the next products? Have you ever used the Sprayers Plus machine?
No, that's the one that Pete sells, isn't it? Probably the nozzle Pete sells for the thing.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, man. I don't know anything about that. And 40 psi, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. 40 psi could be 2 gallons a minute. 40 psi could be 32 ounces a minute. So I'm not going to be able to give you an answer on that. Let's see. Can I spray 2,4-D around Ray? I'm reading your comments in the chat, and they're funny. Can I spray 2,4-D around monkey grass? Yes, you can spray 2,4-D around monkey grass. Keep triclopyr away from monkey grass. I remember you talking about spraying urea in a past video. Let's say I had a bag of 4600. How much to dilute? How much water at a safe rate? Buddy, it depends. So it depends on what concentration of 4600 you want to run. So if you want to run, like a 1/4 pound of N per 1,000 square feet, then you would put that 4600 in, what would that be? 200 gallons of water. 50 pounds of it in 200 gallons of water, and then put that over an acre. I think I did that math right on the fly. But, yeah, so, you have to calculate how much actual N you want over a given area, and then how much water you want to use to dilute it is however much water you want to do. How much water should you use? You should be at a minimum of, I would say, 3/4 of a gallon per 1,000 square feet to 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet. Most foliar fertilizer applications are performed at 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet. Let's see. Why do I see untreated lawns greening up way greener than lawns that have been treated? Is there a reason for this? Yes. If you are seeing untreated lawns greening up way greener than lawns that have been treated, it's probably one of two things. Either you treated the lawn that hasn't greened up yet with something like with an herbicide that has delayed the green up, or the lawns that appear to be greening up that are untreated are just full of weeds, and that's what you see in it. One thing to think about is 2,4-D, Roundup, your 3-ways, your all your herbicides when you apply, especially in close to transition, will delay transition. So just keep that in mind. That could be why it's not greening up. Hello, friend. Hello. What are you doing, Connor Ward? Connor Ward's in here. He's got some family stuff going in. All right, let's see here. With proper mowing, not cutting too short, proper irrigation, how can I get through the hot South Maryland summers without the lawn turning brown? Will Greene County Fertilizer Organics help? So, first off, Greene County Fertilizer are not organics, so let's just throw that word out there. We're going to nix that on the front end. And the way I always approach this is no. And the reason why is you're going to reach the genetic limits of the plant. Fescue is a cool season grass. Once temperatures are over 85 degrees, the plant wants to resist being alive, and so the first thing it does is try to go dormant. So with proper mowing, not cutting too short, and proper irrigation, if you want to get through and you still want to have it green all summer long in an unnaturally hot environment, then you're going to have to run a very strong fungicide program. You're going to have to overwater to keep it artificially cool. And then you can be able to keep it going. Just using organics, it may delay, or Green County Fertilizer, humic acids or something, it may delay the onset of stress. It may help with protecting from plant death during periods of stress. So if you enter a really intense drought, it may keep things in a dormant state that eventually comes out of dormancy without just being totally dead. But it's not going to give you some sort of miracle green. It's not going to alter the genetics of the plant. How about that? Fescue and cool season grass can only do so much. No matter what fertilizer you choose, it's not going to change the limits of what that plant can genetically handle. Don't leave anything out there, Paul?
No, I mean, here, I mean, we don't generally want it long like that in the full sun, because it's, you know, in a full, just flat out open sun area, it won't survive the summer. But lots of water, push it hard all winter to drive the roots with all the different things we talk about, the humic acid, the kelp, and fertilize it all winter to have it as big and strong going into the summer as possible. And then just a preventative fungicide program. When you see it, it's too late. You gotta, I'll start mid-May and go all the way through mid-August, probably hitting them every 28 to 30 days. And in my fungicide routine, I'll mix something different in with the fungicide each time. This is a little booster acid product. It might be some kind of humic acid, potassium product, micro, something like that. Each time something different. But the fungicide program is really the key to getting them to survive here, because they just blow up in an instant here in the summertime.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happens. It's brutal. Okay, let's see here. What's up from Fort Worth, Texas? Love me some Bermuda grass. Me too. Hey, Matt, what opening on the Permagreen to apply 0.75 pounds of Carbon X? This is going to be around a 25 or 26, Lush Lawns. Lushy, check out the video on the Carbon Earth channel. We show on that. I think we were doing 26 to get out 0.75 pounds. What summer temp range should you shut down nitrogen apps in turf-type tall fescue and switch to micros? This is a good question. Where would you do that, Paul?
Well,
you cut out the nitrogen and switch to more of a micronutrient or color program versus N.
Well, I have always in the past kind of stuck to the NC State suggestion of no nitrogen fertilizer, at least after St. Patrick's Day. But I mean, I go on up into April sometimes. I've got one that I'm probably a brand new customer that is the yard is anemic, and I'm probably going to go ahead and sock it with a good dose this week. But all my stuff in the regular program that's been fertilized regular was done in March. I mean, but they do say you can run small doses, like 1/8 of a pound per 1,000, you know, throughout the summer. But I'm not doing it. I just don't see it. And I have accidentally run a little bit of liquid fertilizer in a tank mix on something on a fescue yard, and I think I heard it, but I don't know if that was what did it or or something else that was in there. But it doesn't need it. I mean, it's gonna slow way down in the summertime. You don't want to be telling the plant to grow. And what did you say? It was in Texas? I missed that part, but I mean, even
no, I don't know where. Jeremy Swatkins, where are you,
Jeremy's
man?
in Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta.
Not somewhere like that. Yeah, man, you get it up and get it happy right now, and don't put any more fertilizer on it too much later than right now. Did you receive?
Yeah, you know, I would usually put out my last app. You know, I would say like mid-April, and from that point, I'd be looking to make my switch to fungicide. So that would be a good time to also transition over to your micro apps, your irons, manganese, and zinc. Live from Midway Airport. What's up, Brian Jones? Over in the Discord. For those of you that would like to hang out with us, you can check us out at thelawndiscord.com. There is a link going into the chat room that you can also click. I applied my pre-emergent in February at an 8-month rate. Do you think I should apply a low rate sometime in May before crabgrass, just in case? Or will the 8-month last? All right, the Lawn Fix, I'm going to ask you to think about what you just asked me right there. You applied an 8-month rate in February, March, April, May. So you applied an 8-month rate, but you're thinking that you may need to go back and add to it in May, just in case. So you're concerned that you would lose 8 months of control down to 3 months. It doesn't work like that. I know why you have that reservation, but I want you to stop and think about that before deciding to do that. If you're doing an 8-month rate in a single application in February, you're going to get pretty damn close to 8 months out of it. If you're worried about that 8 months not being enough and you need something closer to 12 months, then feel confident to make that application in May to get that duration out to 12 months. But if you don't want that 12-month control, then you may want to forego that application in May. Thinking you need to make a second application in May because you put down an 8-month rate in February, though, that doesn't jive real well. So stop, think about that. That's in my opinion, that's just entirely too much pre-emergent, because you can get through the entirety of your season, and in September, if you're in a warm season market, you can start applying it again to capture your winter weeds. So I just don't see the need to do that. I think that's going to put an unnatural or a unneeded amount of stress on your root system. Just bought a pound of Quali-Pro Strobe 50WG. Pretty pricey and will last my small yard for years. What do you think the shelf life will be on it? It's a water-soluble granule, so the shelf life on it's going to be extremely long. Years. The Lawn Stripes wants a couple of those cigars, Paul.
All right. Come get them.
Done. If I overseed a lawn in the fall with a lateral spread turf-type tall fescue for shade, will it choke out the fine fescues? I don't know. I don't think so. My guess would be fine fescue is going to be much stronger in the shade than a turf-type tall fescue would be. So I would think the fine fescues would choke out your turf-type tall fescues, not the other way around.
That rhizomatous stuff does not spread in a manner to which it's going to choke anything out, really. But
yeah, that's the other thing, too. It's definitely not going to... RTF is not going to choke out anything. When should I start putting down fungicides on my turf-type tall fescue in central North Carolina? Planning to run azoxy, propiconazole, and thiophanate methyl.
About May 15th.
Yep. May 15th is always kind of a good thing. May 15th, the last 4 years running, I saw brown patch on at least 1 yard.
Same here.
So, depending on how many customers you get, you may need to start on that on May the 1st. You may need to start on that the last week of April. You may need to start on that, May 10th. But typically May 15th. Oh, look at Chris Elms in there. Chris said May 15th too. What do you think of Scythe with buying to get a better burn down? Scythe is a... have you ever used it, Paul?
I don't even know what that is. What did you say again?
Scythe, it's an herbicide that's kind of like a non-selective. It's a fatty oil, I think is what it is.
The stuff.
No. It's different. I think it's actually like organic or something. I don't know. It may not be. I may have made that up, but it's different than the Miramichi stuff, but works kind of the same way. Trying to get a better burn down, yeah. I mean, you can tank mix it with pretty much anything, so you would be good. I would probably refer that one to Ray, if he's still in the chat. Ray, what do you think about old site? There he is. Okay for mixture with glyphosate. Smells bad, though. There you go. Who has seen crabgrass germination in their area, says Steve. Have you seen any yet, Paul?
Nah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any yet that I can say I know for sure. But we also had a late frost here on April the 1st. We had a frost, so I would say that would kick it back until about now would be the time I would start seeing it again. I know I've got the soil temperatures for it now for sure.
Hey, Steve Wheeler, my program is so silent, I will never see any crabgrass all year.
Steve, if you're seeing crabgrass, you might want to call up on PPC to get a program check going there. No pressure. All right, let's see here. I have a Bermuda lawn that has some bare areas. Is it okay to throw out seed to fill in the bare areas? No idea what type of Bermuda I have. No. Do not seed your Bermuda grass. Don't do it. Bermuda grass naturally creeps and spreads on its own. If you're dealing with like 10,000 square feet of bare area, then yeah, I could get, you may want to do it. But if you've got some bare spots here and there, do not seed your Bermuda grass. You are going to make yourself so frustrated and angry, and you'll have to back down on your fertilizer because you'll be scared of salting it out. No, don't do it. Just push it with fertilizer and mow it. I grew in 15,000 square feet in a season in my backyard. It was easy. That was all I did to it, was fert it and mow it. Don't even have irrigation to water it. How much Bermuda seed do you do, Paul?
Seeding? If I'm going to strike out and totally get snowed on a seed job that doesn't work, it's generally Bermuda or Centipede. It's such a pain in the ass to seed. If I've got a yard and there is 2 or 3 sprigs in it, I'm telling them, we're not seeding this thing. We're going to push it. And they're generally satisfied with that by the end of the year. We'll RGS and fertilize it to death, man, and it'll usually run. If you can spread it so much faster, you can seed it. And the seeding on that stuff is just it's a joke.
Yeah. The only time I would recommend it, if you did a complete and total renovation, I get it. But outside of that, I mean, I'd go dig something up out of a neighbor's yard and plant the sprig in your yard and then fert it.
I would do a damn pallet first before I would seed the yard. I'd get a pallet and chop it up into squares and throw it all over the yard and push the hell out of it if I had a completely bare, brand new yard before I'd mess with seeding it. That stuff, it rarely comes up good from seed. In
Lushy,
my experience.
Cut it out. He's over here going nuts in the chat. You can stagger sod too. Like you get it, like you said, you chop up a piece of pallet or something. Or you just throw sod squares, on like a grid shaped pattern, like a checkerboard or something. So I've seen that done to cover large areas. I have what battery backpack would be best for doing exterior pest control for the home?
I like the Flow Zone a whole lot. I just picked up some of these 24-volt Chapman sprayers, and they've seemed to be pretty good so far. The Flow Zone has, ridiculous power. It's almost like a pressure washer you can wear on your back. It just depends on what you want to do with it. If you're just going to spray some bugs or spray around in the yard a little bit, the battery Chapman sprayer seems pretty decent so far. I've heard people have a lot of problems with them, but I just got 2 of them, and I've used them right on so far, and they've been pretty good. I way prefer them over a pump sprayer. But if you really want to invest in a really good one that flows on Typhoon, I've done everything and anything with one that I've had for a whole year, and it's over a year now. I just rode around the back of my truck and everything else, and the battery lasts forever. Tons of power. It doesn't get plugged up. The thing is awesome.
We have a row of arborvitae trees that I want to feed this year. Any thoughts on what direction I should head on fert for them? How would you feed some arborvitaes, Paul?
What Hollytone, is that what it is?
Who?
I don't do a lot of bushes, but generally something like a Hollytone or something, I would assume, would be good for them.
Hollytone, I'll tell you, I'm lazy, so when it comes to arborvitaes, I go get those fertilizer stakes,
I've done,
and I put those in the ground, and usually they get pretty high in ammoniacal nitrogen and micronutrients. So that's what I would do. Look, Ray says NP and micronutrients for conifers. There you go. I have Celsius and have applied a mid-rate blanket app at 2.4 grams per thousand. Do you consider spot apps when counting toward yearly maximums? Matt Anderson, no, I believe that states in the label that blanket application or spot treatment applications do not count towards your yearly maximum. William Poole asks, spike aeration, is it worth doing? I don't know. Would you spike aerate?
You mean one of those little star-looking things you can drag around behind your lawnmower? Or, yeah. I've seen in cases where that was done often, like every other time the guy would mow his yard. And hell, it looked all right. I mean, I don't know if it was slicing the, acting almost like a vertimower or something and slicing some of those rhizomes and stolons or what, but I mean, it ain't really going to aerate the yard, no. But I mean, it won't hurt if you do it over and over. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get some temporary movement of water and stuff. So I'd say shoot, do it, man. If you got the opportunity, just do it. I've heard some. Oh, look at this. This is a question to Ray. I'll let him handle that because they're talking about pH and Centipede again, and I want to change the. Oh, Gixer! I put you in timeout. Gixer, hang on, buddy. I'll promote your channel here, man. That is some silly stuff. He private messaged me. What's your YouTube URL? I did not know it was you. I am really sorry. I am really sorry. I did not mean to do that. Okay. Back to here. Had PPC read every article on NCSU turf files? Where's he get all his smarts, says Brian Jones.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to read all the articles on turf files, but I don't know if I have very much smarts, especially when compared to old Matty Martin up there.
Oh, shut up.
But I mean, that is a great source for anyone if you got questions. I mean, it's all laid out right there in a website. You just go look up whatever you're questioning. I mean, hell, it's written by university professionals, so you don't really have to question the outcomes that much on that stuff. So it's a good place to look for sure.
Having to fire off some messages here to people.
I see Chris and Jay keep texting me, but my camera is up there, dudes.
Yeah, I don't know what. All right, I'm trying to go back into here now. Okay, it says we're back in. Are we back in? Hey, we're back in.
Cool.
All right. Now let me move on around here and figure out what is going on now that, here we go. What do you recommend to kill little barley when it's 70 degrees? I believe metsulfuron methyl is labeled for little barley. Not a lot of herbicides are, but I would use metsulfuron methyl. I believe that is the one people have been using successfully. Let's see. Gixer, yeah, buddy, I want to help you out. Oh, he needs to find it. Everybody, go find Kiss My Grass on YouTube. This is my buddy over in the UK. And he cylinder mows his lawn. For those of you that don't know, cylinder mowing is the same thing as real mowing. And I will say this, he's a really, really nice guy, and I'm super excited to see what he's going to be doing with his lawn channel here. Yeah, copy and paste that. I don't need an image. Copy and paste that. I can't work off an image while I'm live streaming. So I can copy and paste it. Copy and paste it here. Okay. Well, did we freeze again? My camera froze. Okay. I may have just messed up. I think I took a picture with my camera. I don't know. Man, we were having a tough one here, Paul. I'm sorry.
Have the camera under the table, did you, when you took the picture?
Golly. All right, here we go. So it looks like some multi-part questions came in here, like, yo, Paul, do you run a Group 3 and Group 11 fungicide at the same time every 28 days? Was thinking about doing that with propiconazole and Heritage G.
Jace. I do. I've used.
What can I use for micronutrients except iron? My iron is crazy high. I don't have any experience with micronutrient products except Microgreen, which does have iron.
A lot of the ag micronutrients will not have as much iron as the turf micronutrients. That might be a plan for you. But I mean, if your soil is crazy high in iron anyway, it's probably not the kind of iron that the grass is using anyhow.
Yeah. Look at your ag stuff if you're trying to stay away from iron. I will say this, even though you're high in iron, it's probably okay to still apply. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Will spraying sulfentrazone at 8 ounces per acre be enough for it to act like a pre-emergent? Ray said a few weeks ago it does it closer to 12 ounces, but I have cool season grass, so my max is 8 ounces per acre. Jeremy, do not spray your cool season grass with 8 ounces per acre. Do it multiple applications at 4 ounces to the acre. So do it like on 30-day intervals. 4 ounces per acre, 4 ounces per acre, 4 ounces per acre. What is this?
That's 0.5 iron in that.
0.5 iron. Helena's Brexel or Axelo Mix 5, I think both of those are going to be like at most 1 or 2% iron too. So is that did you get that from a co-op, Paul?
That's from ActiGrow.
Okay.
But it's got humic acid and all kinds of other crap in it. But it's only 0.5 iron, so not a whole percentage.
Yeah, Jeremy, folks, stay away from doing that. Second part of the question is, label says 4 to 12 ounces per 20 to 175 gallons of water per acre. If I go 8 ounces, am I better using a higher water rate? Yeah, again, do not apply 8 ounces per acre of sulfentrazone on tall fescue. That is, you're gonna cause really, really bad damage. Don't do that. Paul, when will the video of you and Jay Wyrick watching the grass grow be released?
If I can get up with him tomorrow, we'll go ahead and get it all out over the week, at least this week. I might have to put him to work if he comes up here tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, Jay Wyrick, how are you doing, sir? I'm glad to see you over there in the chat.
Jay is the man.
Let's see here. I think will cutting tall fescue at 4.5 to 5 inches going into summer work against me because it's so tall and not dry in a timely manner, causing a better chance of fungus? it's one of those things, you know, the taller you get it, the harder it is going to be able to dry out, but also the less it's going to be reaching for water from the root system, zapping the root system. So it's kind of a catch-22. At some point, you're going to have to let it go that tall, but I don't think it's going to be working against you at that kind of level. Melvin Gunner, what is going on, man? What is going on? Steve Willie, what is so funny you forgot to laugh? Look at him. He is... Steve Willie's over. He's angry. He's mad at the world.
You got appreciation for Steve. Steve's the man, too.
Steve is... I tell you what, Steve can get me laughing on some next level hard laughing stuff there. Ballistic, cut that out. To the person asking about 105EX for the Sprayers Plus 105EX, get a T-Jet Quick Adapter 11/16/16 thread PN QJT MYB. Then you can do most of the T-Jet tips. Really need to be around 0.18 and up to 0.5 gallons per minute at 40 psi tips, as this spray does not move enough volume to run higher. Although the AIC 11010s VS tips work good for next products. There we go. Thank you for the answer, Michael Weeks. But you have to walk fast. Walk fast. Thanks for the info on not throwing out Bermuda seed. We'll push it with FERT. Great content. Hey, thank you, Y-Block. Thank you. Let's see. After dethatching, I need to level out my yard. I have sandy loam and Centipede. Should I topsoil with sand and topsoil, or just sand because of the possibility of bringing bad dirt with weed potential? Just sand. Just sand. I do not recommend anything else other than just sand, especially with Centipede. Do you ever have luck using dirt to top dress?
I can grow some weeds out of some dirt that we brought in. Well, as Michael commented earlier, my buddy at the nursery gave me several bags of this James Bond earthworm duty dirt that he had just to try out, and I threw them out in my little fescue spot I had by my garbage cans, and it was kind of clumpy, so I took my blower and blew it down, but Mike likes to comment that I blew it into the lattice. But, I mean, that really actually worked okay. But in Bermuda, Centipede, something like that, sand is what I usually use to fill up holes or to level out. The dirt you get from these people is so shitty. I mean, to be honest, if you get a truckload of dirt, it's never any good.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had good luck with it, and I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried, and I never do. I never have good luck with it. So I would stick to sand, especially when you're dealing with a grass type that does so well in sandy soil. All right, I found it, Gixer. I found it. So I am going to throw this in the chat. This is my buddy over in the UK. Everybody go show him some love on his YouTube channel. Give him some love. Spread some wealth. Welcome him to the community with open arms and a giant kiss on his big ass bald forehead. That was probably too much. Sorry I said that. T-Weave says, I'm pretty sure I've been hand pulling what I think is broom sedge out of my turf type tall fescue. I know I'm deficient in K. Would this be the cause? What are my options? Broom sedge can be a symbol of lots of different things, and I can't remember. I remember I was talking to John Perry about it, because I know, particularly in the South, where I see it most commonly, just naturally growing, are fields that are not growing crops, right? So either they'll have like cows on it, or agriculture of some sort, or growing something on it, but typically you'll see the fields that have broom sedge in it completely left alone. So I would say there's lots of different things, and super low pH, and very little breathability in the soil. You know, probably looking at higher compacted clays and stuff. So yes, I would say you start with deficient in K, but more importantly, I mean, just pull a soil test for $18-20 or whatever. Instead of, spending $80 in fertilizers to guess at what the issue is, just run the test and know. Matt or Paul, have you had any broadleaves that were not affected during your blanket spray? Having trouble with a few, parsley peart being one. Use 2,4-D and triclopyr. You ever had that issue, Paul?
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. Dennis, what I would say is it's probably not parsley peart you're having issues with. It's probably corn speedwell. I'm going to look up parsley peart real quick. Yeah, you could be having trouble with parsley peart too. If you're having issues with that and you've got triclopyr in the mix, I would add a third active ingredient, and that would either be pyriflufen ethyl, also known as octane, or sulfentrazone, also known as dismiss, or quicksilver, carfentrazone. One of those three as a kicker, and that should get it. PPC is in a group text. That's how he learns.
It had to be Chris or Jerry.
That's exactly who that was. That's exactly who that was. All right, we're going to get back down here again. Bermuda front yard and Bahia backyard in Alabama. I have an infestation of parsley peart that is spreading throughout. Should I treat for this or will it die in the summer? What herbicide? Bermuda grass, something like that. Celsius would be a good choice. Celsius and 2,4-D would be a good choice. Celsius is a pretty good broadleaf weed control, and it's got a decent amount of dicamba in it. So I think you'd be good just about with either of those there.
But that'll probably waste your Bahia grass though.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Have you done any Bahia wasting with Celsius?
It turns it yellow. I got all kinds of Bahia grass stories. I've got my whole front yard used to be Bahia grass, and I mean I've said it too many times to even go through it. But over the winter I blanket sprayed the whole front yard because I plan to get rid of the Bahia grass this year anyway. So I blanket sprayed the whole front yard with 2,4-D and glyphosate while it was dormant. And it's coming out of dormancy now. The Bermuda grass is green as a gourd, and the Bahia grass is coming out yellow. But it's going to bounce back. I can already tell that it's going to make it through that. But Bahia grass is a little sensitive to different herbicides. You'll have to read your label and see what it'll take. 2,4-D is not real good for Bahia grass either.
No. What are some of the other ones we used to put on it that would cause a lot of damage? MSM obviously will kill it pretty quickly. And Monument, Bahia grass doesn't like Monument a whole lot either. It's kind of sensitive.
Yeah. Something like Change Up would probably be fine on Bahia grass. It's got that 2,4-D alternative in it. And probably some of your Speed Zone Southern or something would probably be okay for Bahia grass.
Does Diamine lose efficacy? I have 35 gallons left in my skid for a week and a half. Yes. If you've got it mixed for a week and a half, chances are you're going to begin to have some breakdown take place in your tank mix.
And get a spatula out to get it out of the bottom of it too.
Here we go. This is I love these right here. Do you have any recommendations for quick release fertilizers, granular, to use on Bermuda? What sort of NPK schedule would you normally recommend for the year? What would you recommend, Paul?
The popular thing here to do with Bermuda is put straight urea on it, and 4600 or whatever. I don't do that. I use my DX8. But Bermuda, man, I'll go out. I mean, you can do pretty much whatever you want. You can get as creative as you want. But on most of the stuff I have in the program, I try to get to them once a month, once every 45 days or so, with almost a pound of nitrogen off of what I'm using. My stuff here at home, I I actually fertilize that every couple of weeks with a lower rate.
Yeah, I mean, urea, you can switch it up with some ammonium sulfate. Depending on, what your starting point is on your soil test, I mean, you can go to the co-op and get, I had one blended for me that was like I don't know, it was like a 10-0-10 or something like that I had blended that was half ammonium sulfate, and the rest of it it may have been like a 10-0-20, and then the other half was sulfate of potash. So, I mean, when you're looking at quick release in sources, you got potassium nitrate, calcium nitrate, ammonium sulfate, probably ammonium nitrate, depending on where you live, and urea. Methylene urea would be slow, so you don't have to worry about that, or polycoat or anything. So, yeah, and, keeping it on a monthly schedule or bi-weekly schedule, if you're a homeowner and you can do that, you can do that. If you're a pro applicator, it's probably going to run to 6 weeks. You probably want to incorporate something that's polycoated or slow release or organic to be able to give you that duration. Dr. Halfman in 1936 made LSD-25 out of wheat ergo. My turf-type tall fescue is producing seed heads like crazy. Wondering if I could do the same thing with turf-type tall fescue. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a lysergic acid joke there, Gene DeClos, but I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. For medicinal purposes only, of course. I have no idea. Okay, it looks like the questions have started to slow down. Jake the Long Kid, how are you, sir? RTL the Cabinet, what kind of fertilizers are you putting down on Bermuda during transition period and what rate? I put down my own fertilizer at 0.75, 0.8 pounds. What are you putting down, Paul?
I put down my own fertilizer.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'm just getting cooking on starting to get to the warm season stuff right now as far as fertilizer. But the next couple of weeks it's going to be on, man. I got a lot to get out. So yeah, and I'm going to put RGS with all of them that I can too.
Yeah, my backyard finally is green, so it's ready to start doing some experiments with it. I'm gonna start spraying it with some fun stuff next week because I'm about 85% covered in green right now. Fire for the win. Rest in peace, Shed. All right, Paul, thank you for tuning in and being here with me tonight. Everybody, check out in the chat. I put a link to Paul's channel. Go over there, show him some love, subscribe to him because Paul is awesome. And he's actually absolutely hilarious. And if you have never seen Paul's videos, he's incredibly funny as well as knowledgeable. So jump on over there, show him some love. Yes, that is Paul from Paul's Prime Cuts. So show PPC some love. Everybody show Gixer, my buddy Gixer, some love from up in the UK. Hop on over there and click the subscribe button to him. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Big thank you, Paul, for putting up with all the technical difficulties I ran into tonight. I was kind of running a little bit slow, but of course, you're welcome here anytime. We will be doing this again soon. So, all right, everybody, thank you for watching. Everybody go check out Game of Thrones. I appreciate it so much. Y'all have a good one. Take it easy.
Out.
Now I got to figure out how to turn this off.
All right. Thanks, Matt.